argument on Twitter. Okay, I'm over here arguing, and again, we're gonna actually just talk about this in the video today. I'm over here freaking, I didn't even know that I went live. And it's not like I'm really trying to argue with the guy. Let's see. Okay, I did in fact go live.
What are you looking at? I'm not afraid of you, you know, even if you are my element.
Okay. Oh, wait, I didn't check if
Let me know if you see anything you like.
is my voice hearable? I guess it is, but audio sounds. Keep turning down the audio every single time. But I've been having these debates with Western Rite people.
But do I detect a case of the rat? Ah,
And
so
it's not
you're
because
an
I hate the
alchemist,
Western
then.
Rite. I just hate that this notion that the Western Rite needs to be like a book of common prayer inspired in some way. I hate that. I don't know how to rationalize that in my head. Let me just read what this guy wrote. So that, I mean, because I don't know if, like, am I being insane for saying things like this, but it's just, I just don't know what else to do. Alright, so the original post was, when I asked my parish priest what he thought about the Western Rite, he was unequivocal. He said the Western Rite is fully Orthodox. He also told me that he would like to introduce it to Greece one day, or at least celebrate its liturgy occasionally, but Greeks are unfamiliar with it. And then I posted in reply, I'm not sure how much sense it would make to do an adapted Anglican service in Greece. That would be needlessly scandalizing. I'm not sure if we should even call it the Western Rite. It's more like the Orthodox Book of Common Prayer experiment. Okay, and then some dude in the comments said, well, the Western Rite uses the Roman Rite primarily, and that's not true. Okay, it's not true that the thing that we're calling the Western Rite in the church right now is the Western Rite. It's just, it's not true. It's the Anglican Rite. The Book of Common Prayer was inspired as a rejection, and I've said this in plenty of other videos before, but the Book of Common Prayer was inspired, first off, by the state of England, okay? It's a state-created religion. It's not instituted by God. It's a state-created religion, and their religious text...
Do you get to the Cloud District very often?
...is a mishmash of everything that is traditional, holy, and orthodox from the actual Western Rite. Okay, the reason when the original people in the Orthodox Church were investigating the Book of Common Prayer, the reason they had to adapt the Book of Common Prayer is because it's devoid of much of the content that it should have within it if it was fully Orthodox, right? So no, just putting the Roman Mass inside of a Book of Common Prayer and saying, oh look, we're Western Rite now, that's highly dubious. That's intellectually dishonest. Okay, because I mean, if we're being honest, like why are the Western Rite people not celebrating the Saram usage? Why are they using the Roman usage? But that doesn't even matter. It's just why are we taking this thing called the Book of Common Prayer and just acting like this is the only expression of Western Christianity ever, and this has to be the Orthodox Western Rite? Even though the Book of Common Prayer is a rejection of everything that is holy, good, and true in the Orthodox West. It's baffling to me. And then you listen to the videos of the Western Rite priests, and they're always saying incredibly scandalous things, right? They're always equivocating and, dare I say, lying, right? When you ask them, do you celebrate the feast of the most sacred, or the Sacred Heart, do you celebrate that feast? Some of them will just tell you like, oh, privately I do. Others, they just legit celebrate the feast, a Roman Catholic feast, the Sacred Heart, right? I just did a book review on the Orthodox Book of Common Prayer, the Red Book. I guess that was a few weeks ago or a week ago. And my immediate reaction to that book was that it wasn't Orthodox. It wasn't Orthodox in any way. All right, it had the Filioque in it. It had, and again, I can understand that there's some mentally ill Western Rite person, and I do mean that, who's immediately thinking in the comments, well, the Orthodox believe in the economic sending of the Holy Spirit, and it's like, okay, but again, the red little book that you guys have, it still has the Filioque in there, and on top of that, it's just a Book of Common Prayer. So privately, in your private prayer life, I'm not going to say something as crazy as like you can't read the Psalms in 30 days in your private prayer life, but in the life of the church can't promulgate a defective rite. It can't create or adapt the Book of Common Prayer, okay, and not change the Psalter schema. The Psalter schema in the Book of Common Prayer is completely not what the Western Fathers were doing. Okay, and if you say no, the Western Fathers were doing a 30-day Psalter, you're a liar. You're lying on the Fathers. Okay, why does the Western Rite of the Church have to model the Thomas Cranmer religion? Right, and if you even question any of the presuppositions of the Western Rite people, they just immediately start lying and saying, oh, you hate the Western Fathers, oh, you just don't understand, you're a bigot, you're a liturgical bigot. No. If we're going to bring this thing, the Western Rite, into the church, right? It can't immediately be on the basis of the evil things that the Anglicans did. And what they did do to their own religion was evil. Okay? What Thomas Cranmer did was evil. And it wasn't Orthodox. And if you say it's Orthodox, if you say, oh, we can just adjust the oh wait. I think I did something very wrong when we sold those potions. I sold the wrong potions. So we're actually just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. But like this whole notion that we have to like, that was probably before I sold the stuff, right? This whole notion that we have to just accept, and of course this person didn't respond back. I didn't even actually and then some guy wrote in response, the Western Rite uses the Roman Rite primarily, and then I said, the Western Rite uses a corrected Roman Rite, which is proper, while also allowing for the innovations of the Book of Common Prayer. Saying they use the Roman Rite primarily for a Sunday Mass is still ignoring that the rest of it is Book of Common Prayer inspired and adapted. And then this guy said, where in which parishes do you see, or where in parishes, okay, so he just wrote a bad sentence. Where in parishes that use the Roman Rite and not the English Rite do you see the Book of Common Prayer influence? And then I said, I'm speaking of parishes who use the Book of Common Prayer for their divine office, okay, morning and evening song, and then the rest of the canonical hours are completely absent, are replaced with benediction of the Blessed Sacrament, replaced with a rosary hour, which in practice, I don't have a problem with a rosary hour. Okay, but the reason the Book of Common Prayer has to add in these post-schism developments is because they destroyed the divine office. They removed the canonical hours, all right? And have a 30-day Psalter and are completely disconnected from the Western Rite of the Fathers because they use an adapted Book of Common Prayer. Are you saying there are Western Rite parishes out there who don't use the Book of Common Prayer? And then I followed up with another comment. Well, I guess I'm not speaking about a parish that uses the authentic Roman Rite, which I fully support. I'm speaking of parishes that use the Book of Common Prayer morning and evening song with the associated devotionals, which are for better or worse post-schism.
Even if
Okay,
you are my elder.
whatever the Western Rite people want to say, let's make sure we have all the potions we needed to have first off. Okay. Whatever the Western Rite
Do you
people
get to the Cloud District very
want
often?
to say, I'm just gonna start calling them the Anglican Rite. Whatever they want to say about their practices or about their book, right? Whatever they want to say about it, it's post-schism. All of it is post-schism. None of it is apostolic. Okay? Who in the apostolic church gave Thomas Cranmer the right to condense the divine office into two very poorly abridged and adapted services? Who gave him the right to do that? Okay, morning and evening song are a really poor and neutered version of the actual Western divine office of Saint Benedict, of Saint Gregory the Great. Pick a Western father. None of them were praying from the Book of Common Prayer. Oh, but this is our liturgical heritage. This is what was passed down to us. Yeah, Thomas Cranmer passed down the Book of Common Prayer to you. Saint Benedict didn't. Saint Augustine of Canterbury didn't. What was Saint Augustine of Canterbury praying in the morning, right? Most likely, if I'm just gonna guess, if I'm just going to assert my opinion, most likely he was praying lauds. Okay, when he woke up and he went into the chapel, he most likely prayed lauds, prime, the capitular office and chapter in the chapter house, right? They read the martyrology. Okay, he prayed the 3rd hour, the 6th hour, the 9th hour, the Mass. Yeah, the Roman Mass, or not, maybe not necessarily the Roman. Or I guess Saint Augustine of Canterbury would have been praying the Roman Mass probably, but. And I'm not beefing with the Roman Mass. I'm not beefing with the Saram usage of the Mass. I'm not beefing with any of that. I don't have a problem with any of that. Specifically, the Book of Common Prayer in its chopped up and cooked office that can't even be called a divine office because it's just so radically different from everything that the fathers East and West were doing. Okay, mind you, the fathers were having arguments about, like, should we be reading the Psalter in a whole day or in a whole week or in every 3 days, right? Over in, I believe over in the Irish we're talking about, like, reading the Psalter twice in a day, right? And I'm not saying that that's, like, sustainable or healthy at all, but, like, the idea that a 30-day Psalter and 2 services called evening song and morning song were apostolically passed down from the Western fathers is such an absurd and just ridiculous notion. Thomas Cranmer passed down the Book of Common Prayer. Okay? So yeah, I don't have a problem with the Roman Rite. I don't have a problem with the English Rite. If we're talking about the pre-schism usages of all these things. And I mean, honestly, like, the Anglican Church doesn't even feel like the Book of Common Prayer is worth it, because every couple 50 years, 100 years, 70 years, they adapt it again, they redo it. Right? There's the American Book of Common Prayer, there's the UK Book of Common Prayer, there's the New American Book of Common Prayer, there's the 1662, there's the 1928. There's so many multiple different versions, and they all contain different versions of the divine office. Why are we being inspired by the stupidities and the liturgical inconstancy of these people? Why are we letting Anglicans, who are, they're Protestants, why are we letting them determine anything? Probably a bad time to use that. And it's just like I watched that one interview, and we're gonna do a review of that interview. And it's gonna be a multi-part review. Alright, and you're gonna have to blame this on my godfather, because he inspired me, whether for better or worse, to keep talking about these things, right? And people are always just like, okay, and what is this guy saying? Because this guy just responded back. Have a 30, yeah, okay, and he's saying, I'm speaking, are you saying that there's Western Rite parishes out there who don't use the Book of Common Prayer? And he's saying, yes, probably the majority do not. And I don't think that's the case at all. Oh, and I forgot the story I was telling earlier, but, like, I was watching a live stream of just a random Western Rite, canonical Western Rite parish, and they're using quite literally, they're using the Book of Common Prayer with the weird added filioque nonsense in it, or the added holidays in it, the Roman Catholic feast days. So, like, just telling me that there's one Western Rite parish out there who's properly doing everything, okay, according to the pre-schism usage, is not good enough. It's not good enough. This thing needs to be canonically cracked down on. Okay, there has to be some sort of unity with the text that everyone in the Western Rite is using. If one parish in the Western Rite feels free enough to use the Book of Common Prayer while another one is just using the Roman Rite, which it should be, that's not a good thing. That's liturgical abuse. Okay? And just telling me, oh, my one Western Rite parish that uses the proper form, I go to that one. Okay, well that's like the minority of Western Rite parishes. That's not the majority. That's not what the vast majority of the Western Rite parishes are doing. Right, this is the same type of stupid argument that like Roman Catholics make, where it's like when you point out the deficiencies in the Novus Ordo system in general, then they point to the one traditional Latin Mass parish, or the one traditional Novus Ordo parish that's praying in Latin for some reason. That's what they do, is they just essentially equivocate and cope. Right? If you bring up, oh hey, you know, this is a little weird that there's like a bicycle mass in the Catholic Church, or if you talk about like the motorcycle mass, or if you talk about like just the general deficiencies in the Novus Ordo religion, the poor catechism, right? The actual religion itself is different. If you point any of that out, then all the Catholics are just like, no, that's not true. It's the same religion. We believe in the same things. And if you notice that it's not the same, then you're actually a bigot. Go! It's maddening. There's one. Oh, let me tell you about the one Western Rite parish that is doing everything correctly, and I'm not even sure that's the case. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know that that's true. It's not like you could just pull up a website for most of these places. Oh well, my one parish, we do things, and they never actually are ever actually doing things that the Western Fathers are doing, right? There's always some type of innovation that gets brought in, right? Say what you will about benediction of the Blessed Sacrament, it's not a pre-schism service. It's a developed post-schism service. Say what you will about Thomas Cranmer. He's not Orthodox. He's not a bishop. He's not a priest. He's nothing. So like this whole stupid code, where I'm being very specific in my criticism. I'm being very specific that I'm talking about the Book of Common Prayer Western Rite. And then all the other Western Rite people are just like, oh, well, you have to, which one of us are you actually talking about? Yeah, that's the issue. You guys are all doing something completely different from the Fathers. There's no sense of liturgical unity. Right? Oh, I'm using the Western Rite, and it's just an adapted Roman missal from 1963, right? It's never anything post-schism. It's always just, we adapted this one text over here. And then when you look through the text, and it's like, who was the Orthodox person who adapted the text? Because it doesn't look Orthodox. And by it doesn't look Orthodox, I don't mean it doesn't have Eastern additions in it. I mean the actual structure and service of the... Why did my iPad just turn on? I mean the actual structure of the service is just not apostolic. Okay, this person didn't respond back. And then this person said, when St. Austin of Canterbury was doing his mission work in England, Pope St. Gregory the Great did not take it for granted that he'd exclusively only use the forms of the Roman Rite, but encouraged him to use whatever things he found useful in any church for his mission. But the Anglican Church isn't a church instituted by God. Okay. what beneficial things can we find? Can we find beneficial things in the Novus Ordo sect? Right? If we go to evangelize England right now, which it needs to be evangelized in at this point, because the Anglican religion has failed, right? If we were going to go evangelize them, right, would you do it with the Novus Ordo, or would you do it with the actual authentic pre-schism rite of the Western Fathers, which is actually the liturgical tradition of the English people? Why are we trying to convert the English people with their deficient religion? Right? Their religion hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. The state-created nonsense hasn't worked. So how is it going to work in the Orthodox sense, right? The Anglican religion, the Anglican divine office has worked so poorly that, I mean, what, they got women priests now. They got the Latin Mass with women priests. Oh, look it, they got the Roman Rite, but there's a woman there. And obviously that's not happening in Orthodoxy, but it's the same type of mindset, right? As long as we have this one Mass that's pre-schism, or looks pre-schism, thus then therefore, it's the authentic Western Rite, and that's highly dubious logic. The Western Rite is not just a Mass, it's not just a divine office, it's the whole package, right? If you leave out parts of the package, right, if you abrogate, if you do what Thomas Cranmer did, then it's not the same religion. It's not Orthodox. Oh, the rest of us Orthodox people are reading the Psalms like the Fathers taught, but these people over here get to do 30-day Psalters, they get to do Roman Catholic devotions, they get to do whatever, they get to do Rosary Hour, and they don't even mean like an Orthodox understanding of the Rosary, they mean the meditations associated with it. So it's just all equivocation, it's just all, they don't actually evaluate, hey, is this thing that I'm doing actually pre-schism? Like even like the prayer hands, the collapsed hands, the Orens posture, right? The famous posture they do when they have their hands pointed upwards, right? That's post-schism. Okay, and there's Western Rite parishes where you watch the video and it just looks like an Anglican or I guess an Anglican or even a Catholic service. Why is the tail still moving? It looks no different.
Have you returned, my old friend?
And that's just not Orthodox. Okay? You can revive an authentic version of the Western Rite through Internet Archive. Okay, I just read a rule from the English Church, pre-schism rule, on how they used to run their church. And you don't see any, there's no appeal to the fathers in any of these places. It's just, hey, why is it that you guys are staring at the Blessed Sacrament? Right? Which of the pre-schism Western fathers instituted the service of staring at the sacrament, at the Eucharist? Who came up with that? Is it a Western father who came up with that? No, no, they never tell you any of that. There's never a Western father who created any of that. Can you ask them, hey, which of the Western fathers were doing Stations of the Cross? You always hear that from these Anglican Rite parishes, right? Stations of the Cross. And they always say, well, it's iconographic, which it actually is, right? It is iconographic. It's an iconographic service. And in that sense, it can be adapted to be Orthodox, right? But that's like the one thing. And even that, the Stations of the Cross, Post-schism. Very post-schism. Sacred Heart. Very post-schism. Divine Mercy. Very post-schism. I don't know if any Western Rite people are doing Divine Mercy. I don't think they are. But I mean, you do have the crazy Western Rite priest online who's just like, yeah, you can privately venerate Fatima. Can we privately venerate Our Lady of Akita? Our Lady of La Salette? Where does the actual cutoff actually happen? You ask again. You ask some of these I don't want to say Roman Rite Orthodox priests because they're not actually Roman Rite. But again, you ask the Anglican Rite priests, and they're just like, they don't even want to tell you when the schism happened. They don't want to even tell you that the schism happened. I literally just heard the priest say that. A canonical priest in the Antiochian Western Rite Church saying that for some reason the Orthodox Church doesn't dogmatically actually know when the schism took place or what the schism is even about. Which is like again, that guy went to, this connects well to my previous video from yesterday. That guy went to seminary. How beneficial was that for him? And he's teaching heresy. And that's a condemned statement that we don't know why the schism took place. Historically, it's a strange statement. And the only reason you would say a statement like that is, again, ecumenism, creating some sort of tension where there really isn't any tension between the Western Fathers. Again, the Western Fathers, if you can't verifiably prove to me that the Western Fathers were praying morning song like the Anglicans do, okay, and even like think about like even the musical notation, right? Did the Western Fathers have any sort of sense of Anglican plain chant in the reading of the Psalms? So that should tell you already it's a different religion. The way they read the things is different. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily that what the Anglicans are doing with the plain song tradition is wrong. I'm just saying that it's a different tradition. It might have some sort of connection to what the fathers are doing, but the underlying and foundational part of the religion is a rejection of everything that came before. So there's a different way that we sing the Psalms even now. It's all ever so slightly different. And again, it's the same sort of lie, and this is why I feel like we really need an authentic Western Rite. Because we live in a time where the Catholic Church lies and copes and says that the Novus Ordo religion is the same thing as the pre-schism Catholic religion, and they crack down on the legitimate Latin Mass. Right? Our Western Rite should be trying to appeal to the Latin Mass people, because that's a valid tradition that the Catholics don't want to let go of. Okay? And just think about like all the thousands of martyrs and people who were killed for not adapting or submitting to the Book of Common Prayer. And you might be like, Markel, those aren't martyrs in the Orthodox sense, and they're not, right? But they were still killed for what was validly passed down to them. And if you say like no, actually no one was killed. No one was killed for rejecting any of this. There was no monasteries that got burnt down. The spiritual fruit of the Book of Common Prayer is that there's no monastic life anymore in England. Okay, they got women bishops, right? And even in their own system, the Book of Common Prayer is like not even the preferred rite, right? Because you got the mega church Anglicans, you got the gay Anglicans with the adapted Book of Common Prayer. Yeah, just stay right there. Stay right there. Please, just... Okay. Oh, okay. Now it's doing the freaking... It's doing the freaking shadow clone jutsu. No! And I've also used this before as well. Like if you woke up one morning and you're a Byzantine Rite person, right? And you're used to every morning on a Sunday morning maybe, you're used to... Well, actually, let me just say it like this. You know, you wake up on a Saturday and you go to vigil on Saturday and you find out that there's actually been this new divine office that's been created, right? So Saturday night for vigil, we don't do the 9th hour Vespers and Compline anymore with the canon. We just do like a collapsed or adapted office that smashes Vespers and Compline together and forgets the rest of it. And then they take Oh Gladsome Light out, or they take the canon out to make the shortest server the service shorter, and then they add in just read the Old Testament right here, read the New Testament right there, and then that's the service. And then when you wake up on Sunday morning to go to Matins in the 1st hour, in the 3rd hour, and the 6th hour before Divine Liturgy, when you walk in for that, the priest is just like, hey, actually, we're doing this new Madden service, and it's just the 6 Psalms. And we don't do the 1st hour anymore. Right? We're getting rid of that. Okay, that's what Thomas Cranmer did. That's what the Catholics did at Vatican II. Was they looked at the valid Western tradition and they started just chopping things up. And personally, for me, I don't feel like you can just adapt something that bad. For me, I don't think that you can just sit down in a council with a bunch of Orthodox bishops or academics and adapt the Book of Common Prayer in a good way. I don't think that that's possible. I think it just needs to be rejected. In the same way that, like, I don't think that the Novus Ordo religion should be adapted. You shouldn't try to make the Novus Ordo more traditional, because it's just based off a rejection of tradition. It's based off denying what the Father is. Right? Please stop. I can't use, and again, you can't use wards. Okay, please stop. This is ridiculous. Like, how are you supposed to actually defend against this? I can't run. Like, who came up with this? Oh, you know what the players will love? Being frozen solid and having no recourse to fight back. I love that the actual quest line doesn't prepare you at all for any of this. Like, and I still have to fight the dragon priest. And I love that the summon legit did not fight the enemy at all. It just kind of stood to the side. I love all that. That's fun. Reminds me of going to a Anglican service. And I'm just like, where's my combat ability at? Can I please cast? Yeah, you look over here at me. Oh yeah, I forgot I don't have any. She did nothing. We'll just die. We'll have to just take pot shots at her. I hate to do that, but we'll just have to shoot at her from the back or whatever. And, you know, I used to tell Father, like, you know, I'm really interested in like the Western Rite or whatever, because I was, but that was before I actually knew anything about it. That was before I knew that what the vast majority of places are doing in the Orthodox Church are not the Western Rite. That was before I knew that. Just run away fully. Where's the... Okay, okay. Oh, okay, cool. This isn't benefiting me too much. Like, is my complaints, like, are they valid? Like, if we woke up in the morning in the Byzantine Rite and it was all different, like, we would all have a problem with that. So I just don't know why do we not have a problem with that is literally what happened in the West. And I'm not trying to be mean to the Western Rite people, but it's just like, if we're not doing what the fathers are doing, is it Orthodox? Okay. The Book of Common Prayer is just yet another innovation from the West. So if we're gonna make an Anglican Rite for the Orthodox Church, let's just call it the Anglican Rite. Let's not call it what it's not. It's not the Roman Rite. It's the Book of Common Prayer. Yeah. Stop. Stop. Okay, come on. I might end the stream after this battle. This battle is becoming too much. I don't even have... Hi. Hi, guys. Like, once I defeat her in the back, then the shadow clones will go away, but, like... She dances. So I mean, just for me, if we're gonna do a Western rite, like it needs to actually be what the Westerners were praying, okay? And it can't just be something that was created 500 years ago. Are we gonna have the mega church mass? Are we gonna have the mega church divine? What, dude? Come on. I don't think we would do that, so why are we doing an Anglican service? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? Because this needs to happen. But I can't like go through all of my potions just to kill this one thing. And it's not necessarily possible to kill this one thing, I don't think. So the other, okay, so now I have an additional problem to worry about because that one flew away for some reason. What scrolls do I have? And I mean, like, if this doesn't work, then nothing works. Nothing will work. Take some drugs. Ready to go. Okay. Why, game? Please, please go fight. Why? Come over here. Why? Game, please. Lock in. Please lock in. Oh, dude. Please! Game, please. Please stop. This is not funny. This is not funny. Like that. Dude. Is that a shade or is that the actual thing? Oh, come on. Alright, that's fine. Okay. Let's just take a break. But like you can go find online like the rule and like the people who say like, oh, we don't know how the actual Western Rite people were praying back in the day. That's a lie. That's a lie. You can go read how the ancient English church was praying. You can go read their rites, their rules. Okay. Evil spell. That is an evil spell. Okay. I don't know how we're going to defeat the dragon priest. I don't think that's going to be possible. Right, we just went through most of our potions just to do that.
Did he warn you that your rogue power would be your wrongdoing? That it would only serve to strengthen me?
can't stop now. We have to keep moving. Going back would be the end of all of us. We keep pushing forward and we'll make it. We will!
Face your end.
I don't want to. I want to keep living. I want to keep living so I can go be a authentic Western Rite priest. I don't have a problem with the Western Rite. Again, I just have a problem with this, what we're calling the Western Rite.
Who's go?
I can't fight all these things. This isn't a good playthrough so far. This is such a difficult playthrough. Yeah, come over here. Come over here, come on. I'm over here. I was gonna have you fall to your death, but I guess you're not really. You guys aren't really.
Who's go?
Oh, no, please don't. Please. Keep your arrows over there. We'll have to pick up some arrows off of these people so maybe we can use our overpowered bow. Drain spell bow, of course. What a great bow. What a great bow. Da, 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 da. Yeah, and I've gotten into arguments with Western Rite people in the past before because it's just like, it doesn't pass the smell test, and they always get upset and say, you're trying to, you know, restrict my religion, you're trying to crack down on my mass. And it's always this very dramatic, like, oh, you're just, woe is me, everyone just hates me for no reason. It's like, no, I don't hate you. I just question the validity of the Rite. That's all I'm doing. It's not a personal attack against you. If anything, I'm defending your ancestors who, yeah, as I said, they died. They died to all of this. Okay, go read the history of the reception of the Book of Common Prayer. It wasn't all. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, we all assent. There was thousands of people who had to take their religion underground, basically. Right? Think about even like the little. So actually, the little office of the Blessed Virgin is actually a good point for this, right? There's not too many Western Rite parishes that are doing that as a devotion, and that is pre-schism, right? There's Eastern Fathers who talk about the little office of the Blessed Virgin, all right? That is actually apostolic and passed down from the Universal Church. You don't ever see that. You don't ever see little office of the Blessed Virgin hour. You see Rosary hour. Modeled after the Roman Catholic system. So like, again, it's not like we're engaging with like the authentic Western Rite. Who is texting me this much? Turkey bacon sandwiches today. Sounds great. Sounds perfect. All right. I'm just now calming down. I get so upset when I talk about the Western Rite with people, because it's just like, it's like, how do you actually sit and read the Western Fathers for even like a second and think like, actually, it's okay what I'm doing. This Book of Common Prayer stuff is okay. I don't know how any, like, honestly. What spell book is this? Yeah, even, I'll sell it, because it has no use. Oh, no, I hate this. I hate this part. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. And I literally just told myself, I literally told myself I hated this part. And then I went and did that. Okay. Fun. It's like, imagine if someone, you know, you were reading The Lord of the Rings, and someone came up to you and told you, hey, I actually have, you know, this new and improved Lord of the Rings, right? And 45% of the content is missing. And any references to... Okay. Well, at least it keeps me alive, right? It gives me a chance to back out. But imagine if one day you woke up and The Lord of the Rings was completely different. It had 45% of the content missing, and what was in there was heavily adapted. Okay. Wrong spell for that one. Well, how's everybody's day going? Mine doesn't go too well when I talk about the Western Rite. My day gets ruined. Ugh. And then on top of that, you just have the overall disinterest and sort of like actual hatred of the authentic Western Rite that a lot of Orthodox people have. So like, I'm in the healthy middle, where I feel like, yeah, we need to have a Western Rite, and that a lot of the stuff in the Byzantine Rite, whether it be in the Greek church or the Antiochian church, is just very foreign to Americans. But at the same time, I don't want to have Anglicanism. If I can't hit this, why can't I hit it? The aiming with the spectral arrow doesn't really make any sense to me, but okay. Like, if someone came up to me tomorrow and was just like, do you want to be a Western Rite priest? I would say yes to that. I would just be like, yeah, probably. Let's do it. But if what they meant by that was, oh, hey, you're gonna have to do evening song. Hey, let's go do some evening song. Right, and I feel really sad because, like, the one Western Rite priest who who I'm going to do the video on, was really happy that Metropolitan Saba went to the service of, I guess it was evening song with this priest, and he was really happy about it. And Metropolitan Saba was like, I feel like I'm in heaven. And I don't want to disrespect his eminence, but you know, like, people say that about like the Novus Ordo religion. People say that people can feel reverence at a well done Novus Ordo mass, okay? You can feel reverence at, or you can feel heaven, whatever that means. And again, I'm not trying to push back too hard on his eminence, but what does it even mean to you feel heaven in a service that was created by not Orthodox people? Right? That's no different from saying you feel heaven in the Novus Ordo Church, and that, I mean, that's kind of basically what some of the Greek hierarchs are saying when they go to help the Pope or whatever, do whatever they do with the Pope. So I feel like I'm in the healthy middle ground of, I have a healthy skepticism and disinterest in Catholicism and in the what I would perceive as, oh, not even perceive, but just understand as the innovations in that system. I have a healthy skepticism of that and a disinterest in that. I also have a healthy disinterest and skepticism of Anglicanism, but at the same time, I'd love to see a Western Rite in the church, but it doesn't need to look like the innovations that they're doing. Okay? A proper Western Rite church should have rood screens, chanters. Oh, what's this about? It should have a lot that the modern Western Rite doesn't have. I might have to use all of this in the battle. Right? You go into a modern Western Rite church and like you notice that like the altar is attached to the wall. And not only is it attached to the wall, I need to save here. But not only is it attached to the wall, there's no rood screen, right? There's no barrier to the actual altar itself. They might have like a kneeler or a communion rail or whatever, but again, that's just an innovation. Historic Catholic churches, they have rood screens. They have a delineation between the altar, right? It's not just open. It's not just chilling out there. Come back, because I don't want you to come back later and hit me. Yo, dude, why did it fling like that? Okay, back up, back up, back up. But you go to a lot of these Western Rite parishes, is the altar detached from the wall, or is it attached to the wall? And that's actually a pretty big concern, right? Because how does the altar get incensed? The Western Fathers didn't have altars sitting on the wall. Okay? Another pretty huge point, right? If you're going to a... What in God's name? If you're going to a Anglican Orthodox church, right? What's that color? If you're going to an Anglican Orthodox church, what was even the point that I was about to make? I don't remember. What, dude? Why? I'm literally standing right in front of him. Where's my sword at? Where's it at? Do I have like... I'm just screwed right now. Why have I not spent the points? Okay. We need to find our... We need to find our sword. Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up! But like the altar, or oh, I was gonna talk about like the communion, right? I couldn't find the sword. I was gonna talk about communion, but like if you're going to like, are they giving you a wafer? Oh, okay, so he just has one hit kill me. Okay, he can just do that. All right. But are you going to an Orthodox or a supposedly Orthodox church where they got wafers? If so, I mean that's kind of a huge issue. If the Eucharist isn't being served in the Orthodox way. And guess what? There is an Orthodox way. There's only ever been one Orthodox way. There aren't multiple different ways of confecting the Eucharist. Okay? Where we can have like 2 different types of bread being used. There's only one type of bread being used in the Orthodox sense. So if you're going to a Western Rite parish where the priest doesn't care how you cross yourself, what type of devotions you're doing at home, spiritually, you're in a bad place. Not a good place. Gotta remember not to get too close. Just wait a moment. Finally, dude. Oh, dude. It feels like every battle I've encountered so far on this play run has just been like life or death. I only have... I vaguely remember there's gonna be something that pops out. Yeah. Oh, they spawned in. How did you survive that? Okay, so we just gotta wait for this one. Oh man. Alright, let's go back. Scam this guy real quick. No, no, don't summon things. No. Stop it. I don't want to play that game with you. I don't want you to summon something. Alright, I'm ready to fight again. How many arrows do we have? Because this upcoming battle, 7? And we don't need bolts right now. We do have, I forgot we have staffs. I'm not really taking into account the weapons that we have right now. Not using that. Not gonna use that. We also don't have soul gems, so it's not like we can just regenerate.
Stay there and die with her? She refused to go on. We didn't have a choice. Agreed. We all stay together.
I'm shocked that none of these things had like arrows. Oh, there we go. 16 is probably more than enough. Actually, we'll take these to sell. How long have I been recording for? A minute, a fat minute. A fat minute ranting about the Western Rite. But I feel like I'm in a very blessed position where I'm able to recognize, hey, this doesn't look right, or this smells kind of funny. While also saying I love the Western Fathers. I think a lot of the vitriol and hatred shown towards St. Augustine is really bad, or like the deliberate misrepresentation of his view. Just the deliberate misrepresentation of him as a person. That's always shocking. Of course. Now I don't think I can. Can I not use both of them? Okay. He's stealing my magic while at the same time casting a ward. That's fun. That's fun. I love that. Oh, come on, game. Game. Is it just my controller? Like, why is it? I don't Evidently, this is a well, at least he's not taking my health. Thank you for that, at least. Or dude, you're just taking so little of it. Yeah, keep doing your, because you don't do your one little trick, because you don't have any other type of tricks to do. Just hold up your ward, and then that's it. Yo. Like, the actual sword reacts whenever I want it to react. But the freaking, this thing, I'm not sure about. Okay, cool. Thanks, G. Actually, we need to pick that back up so we can learn its secrets. Okay, cool. Now we're starting to become appropriately powered, even though I feel like I'm still going to be incredibly weak.
I'm sorry, friends. I'm so sorry. I had no choice. It was the only way to make sure that monster never escaped.
I mean,
Promise you.
I killed
I'll
him on
never
my
let
own.
this
I feel
happen
like you
again.
could have just helped
I'll
and
seal
maybe
this
won the battle.
away.
Coward. Okay. So we're basically about to be done with the mage quest line. Let's try this. Did that do anything? I know I didn't give you a chance to do your dialogue, but you never let a villain's monologue. That's my motto. Whenever you see a villain, you should just kill them on the spot. Honestly. Slaughter them on the spot. We're not walking back for this. We'll walk back for it. We'll, cause we need to. Alright, but thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you have an issue with the Western Rite, or you don't like what I had to say about it, I'm sorry. I just don't care. Like, honestly, I don't. And it's because I'm right.